Preliminary examination. The examination shall comprise of 2 compulsory papers of 200 marks each. In the preliminary examination, both the question papers will be of the objective type, multiple choice questions, and each will be of 2 hours duration. The General Studies Paper 2 of the Civil Services Preliminary Examination will be a qualifying paper, with minimum qualifying marks fixed at 33%. The question papers will be set both in Hindi and English. Details of the syllabi are indicated in Part A of Section 3. Main examination. The written examination will consist of the following papers. Qualifying papers are Paper A with 300 marks, one of the Indian language to be selected by the candidate from the languages included in the 8th schedule to the Constitution. Paper B with 300 marks English. Then the other papers are to be counted for merit. These are Paper 1 Essay in 250 marks, Paper 2 General Studies 1 in 250 marks and its syllabus contain Indian heritage and culture, history and geography of the world and society. Paper 3 General Studies 2 in 250 marks. And its syllabus contains governance, constitution, polity, social justice and international relations. Paper 4 General Studies 3 in 250 marks and its syllabus contains technology, economic development, biodisaster management. Paper 5 General Studies 5 with 250 marks along with a syllabus of ethics, integrity and aptitude. Paper 6 Optional Subject Paper 1 Paper 7 Optional Subject Paper 2 Both these 2 papers are in 250 marks each. And finally the subtotal of the written test and personality test grand total is calculated in 2025. This is the structural elaboration of the exam pattern. Detailed syllabus. Part A Paper I, Preliminary Examination. It has a duration of 2 hours. It contains current events of national and international importance. History of India and Indian national movement, Indian and world geography. Indian polity and governance policy, rights issues, so on. Physical, social, economic geography of India and the Constitution, political system, Panchayati Raj, public and economic and social development, sustainable development, poverty, inclusion, demographics, social sector initiatives, general issues on environmental ecology, bio, it's not require subject specialization, general science, diversity and climate change but this do not require subject specialization. Then the general science. Paper 2 of the preliminary examination in a duration of 2 hours, and the syllabus of the paper is comprehension, interpersonal skills including communication skills, logical reasoning and analytical ability, decision making and problem solving, general mental ability, basic numeracy, numbers and their relations, orders of magnitude, so on. Class 10 level, data interpretation, charts, graphs, tables, data sufficiency, so on, and they are in the level of Class 10. Main examination syllabus papers are General Studies 2 Paper 1. Its syllabus is Indian heritage and culture, history and geography of the world and society. Indian culture will cover the salient aspects of art forms, literature and architecture from ancient to modern times. Modern Indian history from about the middle of the 18th century until the present, personalities, issues. The freedom struggle countries post, significant events, its various stages and important contributors and contributions from different parts of the country. Independence, consolidation and reorganization within the country. History of the world will include events from 18th century such as Industrial Revolution, World Wars, redrawal national boundaries, colonization, decolonization, political philosophies like communism, capitalism, socialism. Their forms and effect on the society, salient features of Indian society, diversity of India. Role of women and women's organization, population and associated issues, poverty and developmental issues, urbanization, their problems and their remedies. Effects of globalization on Indian society, social empowerment, communalism, regionalism and secularism. Salient features of world's physical geography. Distribution of key natural resources across the world, including South Asia and the Indian subcontinent, and the factors responsible for the location of primary, secondary, and tertiary sector industries in various parts of the world, including India. Important geophysical phenomena such as earthquakes, tsunami, volcanic activity, cyclone. Geographical features and their location changes in critical geographical features, including water bodies and ice caps, and in flora and fauna and the effects of such changes. And the next general studies paper to it includes Governance, Constitution, Polity, Social Justice and International Indian Constitution, Historical Underpinnings, Evolution, Features, Amendments, Significant Provisions and Basic Structure. Functions and responsibilities of the Union and the states, issues and challenges pertaining to the federal structure, devolution of powers and finances up to local levels and challenges therein. Separation of powers between various organs, dispute redressal mechanisms and institutions. Comparison of the Indian constitutional scheme with that of other countries. Parliament and state legislatures, structure, functioning, conduct of business, powers and privileges and issues arising out of these. Structure, organization and functioning of the executive and the judiciary, ministries and departments of the government, pressure groups and formal, informal associations and their role in the polity. Appointment to various constitutional posts, powers, functions and responsibilities of various constitutional bodies. Statutory, regulatory and various quasi-judicial bodies, government policies and interventions for development in various sectors and issues arising out of their design and implementation. Development processes and the development industry, the role of NGOs, SHGs, various groups and associations, donors, charities, institutional and other stakeholders. Welfare schemes for vulnerable sections of the population by the center and states and the performance of these schemes, mechanisms, laws, institutions and bodies constituted for the protection and betterment of these vulnerable sections. Issues relating to development and management of social sector, services relating to health, education, human resources, issues relating to poverty and hunger. Important aspects of governance, transparency and accountability, institutional and other measures. Role of civil services in a democracy, India and its neighborhood governance applications, models, successes, limitations, and potential, citizens' charters, transparency and accountability and relations. Bilateral, regional and global groupings and agreements involving India and or affecting India's interests. Effect of policies and politics of developed and developing countries on India's interests, Indian diaspora. Important international institutions, agencies and for their structure, mandate. The next we are discussing about Paper 4 and General Studies 3 of exam. It's including the syllabus of technology, economic development, biodiversity, environment, security and disaster management. Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development and employment. Inclusive growth and issues arising from it, government budgeting. Major crops, cropping patterns in various parts of the country. Different types of irrigation and irrigation systems, storage, transport and marketing of agricultural produce and issues and related constraints. Black small square technology in the aid of farmers. Issues related to direct and indirect farm subsidies and minimum support prices. Public distribution system, food security, objectives, functioning, limitations, revamping. Issues of buffer stocks and technology missions, economics of animal rearing. Food processing and related industries in India, downstream requirements, supply chain management. Land reforms in India, scope and significance, location, upstream N. Effects of liberalization on the economy, changes in industrial policy and their effects on industrial growth. Then the infrastructure, energy, ports, roads, airports, railways, investment models, science and technology developments and their applications and effects in everyday life. Achievements of Indians in science and technology, indigenization of technology and developing new technology. Awareness in the fields of IT, space, computers, robotics, nano issues relating to intellectual property rights. Conservation, environmental pollution and degradation, technology, biotechnology and environmental disaster and disaster management. Linkages between development and spread of extremism. Role of external state and non-impact assessment. State actors in creating challenges to internal security. Challenges to internal security through communication networks, role of media and social networking sites in internal security challenges, basics of cybersecurity, its prevention. Security challenges and their management in border areas, terrorism. Money laundering and linkages of organized crime with various security forces and agencies and their mandate. Then the paper 5 General Studies 4, it includes ethics, integrity and aptitude. This paper will include questions to test the candidate's attitude and approach to issues relating to integrity, probity in public life and his problem-solving approach to various issues and conflicts faced by him in dealing with society. Questions may utilize the case study approach to determine these aspects. The following broad areas will be covered: ethics and human interface, essence, determinants and consequences of ethics in human actions, dimensions of ethics, ethics, human values in private and public relationships. Lessons from the lives and teachings of great leaders, reformers and administrators, role of family, society and educational institutions in inculcating values. Attitude, content, structure, function, its influence and relation with thought and behavior, moral and political attitudes, social influence and persuasion. Aptitude and foundational values for civil service: integrity, impartiality and nonpartisanship, objectivity, dedication to public service, empathy, tolerance and compassion towards the weaker sections, emotional intelligence concepts, and their utilities and application in administration and governance. Contributions of moral thinkers and philosophers from India and world. Public or civil service values and ethics in public administration. Status and problems, ethical concerns and dilemmas in government and private institutions. Laws, rules, regulations and conscience as sources of ethical guidance, accountability and ethical governance, strengthening of ethical and moral values in governance. Ethical issues in international relations and funding, corporate governance, probity in governance, concept of public service, philosophical basis of governance and probity, information sharing and transparency in government, right to information, codes of ethics, codes of conduct, citizens' charters, work culture, quality of service delivery, utilization of public funds, challenges of corruption. Case studies on above issues. Thank for watching.